management of the boulevard, my job role is purely for rostering, delegating jobs and roles and whatnot, make sure that front of house and back bar and back of house is all in check. That's stock rotations, orderings, whatnot, then making sure just the daily grind of the day is all going on. So making sure the tables are clear and everything's hygienic.
My position here as the Managing Director is actually to oversee the operational staff that we employ here, due to the fact that the hospitality that we've trained to make sure customer service is actually at its most best possible way we can service them in regards to the food order, the drink order, presentation for cocktail, anything to do with venue events for entertainment, for DJs, for radio top 40 dance hits, but or as a combination of what makes a venue where it's a day operation or a night operation successful. And that's a key. And the thing is that it's not about making money, it's about making sure that the patrons are actually fully entertained and get good value for money and great service, so repeat business continues to flow week to week.
I work at Exotica and I'm a front of house. My job is to take people's money, make sure they're on the guest list, give them stamps and make sure they're dressed properly. Yes, my interaction is limited, but I do make sure that if DJs have guests that they're put on the guest list, that if there's a special deal before a certain time for the price that the guests get into, then I make sure that I do that as well. Drink tickets, if there's a special drink deal, if there's a special drink deal on, then I make sure that the tickets are handed out and stuff like that. Yes, by promoting the event, I make sure that I'm always dressed appropriately and that I look good.
I'm David, head doorman at Shape nightclub at the moment. So security, just keeping patrons safe at the majority of the time, just keeping everyone in line, doing the right thing, not breaking laws, stuff like that. They provide with information on how they would like to work things. How they got VIPs coming through and who the important people coming through, so I can allocate my right security in the right place at the right time, and that way it just makes everything move very smooth.
With a few other people I run Canvas, Control and Dorsia across the city in Northbridge. Oh yeah, we got a few staff and stuff. It's like me and a friend of mine that started putting on nights, and since then as it's got bigger and there's bigger nights, we got people in there managing them and stuff like that. Generally we do, I'm a graphic designer by trade, so I do all the marketing design and stuff like that, and we come up with concepts for nights and that sort of shit. And basically it's not the hardest thing in the world. We just throw parties for people, and because people are aware of other nights that we have, I think they sort of perpetuate that way. Yeah, we tend to focus on word of mouth stuff a little bit more. A lot of the nights we don't try and push really hard as asking people to come. It's more so if you know about it, you can come, and then they all end up blowing up and everyone goes anyway. You have trouble with venues now and then, but in general, the nights that we run are relatively successful, so the venues are pretty happy in general, because the reason that we exist and that we're allowed to exist is because venues aren't necessarily just getting people. It used to be a case where you just open doors and and put alcohol on, people would come to things. Yeah, that's why all of our nights are sort of brands that exist within a nightclub, as opposed to a nightclub. Like, we don't say come to Library Nightclub on a Friday, we say come to Dorsia, which is at the library. And case in point is that Dorsia's moved 3 times, so like 3 different venues, and people will follow the night as opposed to following the venue. I don't know, I think it's integrity more than anything, because it's so easy to just it's so easy to do the same thing as what everyone else is doing and see what works and try and sort of replicate that. But I think, yeah, trying to come up with a concept of something that's new that people will enjoy going to, because in the end, like, everything that we do is about creating something that people enjoy. And as nights are popular, and then they're popular with certain crowds, and then that crowd will move on to something else, and they'll be like, oh, we don't go there anymore. And like, Dorsia was a lot like that. Like, everyone would come to Dorsia, and then they moved on to going to nights like Control and Canvas and Mother Father and stuff like that, and then they don't necessarily go to Dorsia anymore, but then a whole new group of people will come in, and everyone goes there and enjoys it. It's just a room full of people having a really good time. And I think the hardest thing is maintaining that. When one certain crowd will leave and the next one comes in, it's a pretty seamless thing, but I think you need to ensure that you're still creating something that people enjoy, and you're still sort of staying relevant with it. Like, Dorsia's been going for 4 years now, and it's obviously not the same now as it was when it started, but you need to move with the times without having to sort of jeopardize your integrity. And I think that's just a matter of being aware of what people are into. So when it comes to like documentation and stuff, like, yeah, you need some documentation. Like, we have like an enter your own risk policy, if you like, as far as photos go, because people get photographed, right? And we've had a couple of occasions where people have been like, oh, you use my photo for marketing. So the only documentation we really do is like a basic legal document that is perfectly read when they come through the door, saying that if you don't wish to have your photo taken, then just request it and we won't take your photo. If your photo is taken, it may be used for whatever reason. As far as everything else goes, I mean, we're very set up legally, so we have like, you need to be, because you're dealing with alcohol and you're dealing with people coming in and out and stuff like that, and it's a pretty big industry. So we learned along the way, you know, like, we've got a lawyer, for example, we have invoicing structure in place, you know, like DJs have ABNs and shit like that, and people will work for us, and we do certain things, and there's a whole lot that goes into it, you know, like basically I look after all marketing and bookings and stuff like that, and my business partner will look after like all of the invoicing, payments, and the legal side of things, because that's how big a job it is. There's a whole lot to be done.